viewers, once again, I'm now so ke malaga channel or do nutun update kura video welcome kura channel di ase. Ajikali majore India or Pakistan majore ki issue jagana ase monsok pra chani ase. Moi previously uploaded video de Pakistan laga defense minister Gawaza Asif pra ki koise. Pakistan pra terrorist khan ke support nokuri na kure. Tan ke fund nokuri na kure. Moi Defense Minister of Pakistan ba ki koise edu moi laga on kothar bai kodise to aji laga video de tai pro hosabi ki koise Sky News khan lore interact kuradam de interview kuradam de Pakistan laga Defense Minister tai khudi ki koise edu laga video opore mon reaction isna aji laga video saigana jabo macho de explanation lagile moi chudu modu explain kuri dibo idia mon sok pra ekilore interview
But this sort of pattern which is going on in India, when President Clinton was there, there was a terrorist attack on 40 or 44 died in that, and it was blamed that some never heard of that organization which orchestrated this whole terrorist attack. This time again, the people who are being accused are not known, never heard of the organization.
You're talking about an offshoot of Lashkar-e-Taiba, the resistance.
Lashkar-e-Taiba, let me tell you, Lashkar-e-Taiba is a name from the past. It is totally defunct. It does not exist. Let me tell you,
this organization, this group, the Resistance Front, is believed to be an offshoot of Lashkar-e-Taiba.
So etia Pakistan laga defense minister ba ki koise 2002 de not 2002 2000 de US president Bill Clinton ahadan de Kashmir de terrorist khan bra attack korise edu laga attack de Sikh khan do around 30 to 40 morai dise edu nisnai this time be J.D. Vance Delhi re thakaram de etia present thaga US vice president J.D. Vance thakaram de Kashmiri attack korise eduru hole ekta outside no hoigena inside job ase enaga koi ase defense minister Pakistan laga defense minister ba ko aisate USA bra nohole dusra country bra sympathy pabo nimide jani gana India manukhan brai tahan edu job tu kurala ase edu crime tu commit kurala ga ase aro enaga commit kura bijde antas de Pakistan khan ke blame kuri ase kugana edia defense minister ba kwa onishe aro defense minister ba koise ki Lashkar-e-Taiba laga organization do nai ena ko ase edu do extinct hoise defang hoise nai ena koise holibi recently edu laga attack pichide Lashkar-e-Taiba khan bra tahan ba kurise kugana claim kura thakise to iman tahan niju bra Kurishikuna claim gura bichide idia Pakistan laga defense minister bra koi ase ki Lashkar-e-Taiba edu group to line nai now ko ase idia next day aro carry on group.
Well, I just want to take you back to the point that you made a little earlier, sir, where you talked about, rightly, that Pakistan has been a victim of terrorism for decades. As you know, and as the world knows, that is correct. But the reason that India is pointing the blame on Pakistan is because Pakistan is also known to back, harbour, train and fund these terrorist organizations, namely the Taliban for years and groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba. So this is one of the reasons why the Trump administration in 2018 prevented any military aid from reaching Pakistan, because they said that Pakistan was continuing to play a double game. So this is one of the reasons why India has done this today. While you might not be overtly involved, the fact is that because of the ISIs, your intelligence agencies' backing of these terrorist organizations, that is why the finger of blame is now being pointed on Pakistan.
You know, it is very convenient for the big powers to blame Pakistan for whatever is happening in this region. When we were fighting the war on their side in way back in the 80s against Soviet Union, all these terrorists of today, they were whining and dining in Washington. And then came the 9/11 attacks. Again, the same situation was repeated. I think our governments then made a mistake.
When you say you made a mistake, do you mean in backing and supporting terrorist organizations and using them as proxies?
No, they were being used as proxy by United States also. They were actually these Talibans, or before that, the people who were who visited Washington, and they were treated like VIPs in those days. They're all mixed up. They're not multiple organizations. They're just one single organization, religiously organized, and with different faces, different leadership. At times they work together. At times they fight with each other. So it's a long discussion. I don't want to get into that.
But
तो इतिया मुखान पर सब फुनिसे इदु न्यूज़ रीडर बरा ताइब्रा कुटिसी की इंडिया ब्राइ नहोगना दुनिया सब ब्रा पाकिस्तान के फिंगर पॉइंट गुरी आसे पाकिस्तान खान ब्रा टेररिस्ट खान के फंड गुरी टेररिस्ट खान के सपोर्ट गुरी गुना सब मानो ब्रा इंक्लूडिंग इंडिया ब्रा फिंगर पॉइंट गुरी आसे इदु के अमनान न मानी अमनान ब्रा इदु के हसा आसगना एडमिट न कुरी गुना हुटिसे दे तो इदुके इतिया मन्स प्रहुनिचे डिफेंस मिनिस्टर पाकिस्तान लका डिफेंस मिनिस्टर बकी कइसे एट दिस डे यूएस और सोवियत यूनियन वार करा नाम दे पाकिस्तान खान ब्रा इन फेवर ऑफ यूएस वार करा थाकिसे तो इनका वार करा नाम दे टेररिस्ट खान भी आहेगना यूएस के सपोर्ट दिसे ना गोयास दैट मींस पीसी लंबा टाइम ब्राइ पाकिस्तान खान ब्रा टेररिस्ट खान के होले एकी लरम मिलिगना काम करिगना थाका और सपोर्ट पा नले फंडिंग करा होले डिफेंस मिनिस्टर टाइ ब्राइ खुद इदु लगा इंडिविजुअल कोआ थाकिसे और नेक्स्ट लेट्स कंटिन्यू
But just to talk about the incident in Kashmir, sir, India is pointing the finger of blame at Pakistan. They do say that they will retaliate. Are you concerned that that retaliation will be in the form of airstrikes, which could escalate?
This has happened before also, Pulwama, which will later prove to be a false flag operation. And it was confirmed by the Indian media, Indian sources that it was a false flag operation. Pakistan had nothing to do with Pulwama. There was an air raid.
That this incident was, when you say false flag.
Let me complete my sentence, and then you can ask me anything you want. And later on, when they attacked Pakistan after Pulwama, we downed their fighter. And ultimately, we, as a goodwill gesture, we returned the pilot to them, and the things ultimately, cooled down. This time again, they are repeating the same thing. An incident took place in occupied Kashmir, and they are blaming us for that. And our media has never heard the organization they are mentioning behind this attack in Kashmir day before yesterday.
এতিয়া লাগে ইন্টাৰভিউ মঞ্চ প্ৰহুনিছে এটো নিউজ ৰেডাৰ পৰা এনাকা ফুটিছে এতিয়া দুনিয়া নহগনা ইণ্ডিয়া খান ব্ৰাবি পাকিস্তান খান ব্ৰা টেৰৰিষ্ট তাহান ৰেস কৰি আছে সাপোৰ্ট কৰি আছে এটো নিমিতে পাকিস্তান ইণ্ডিয়া ব্ৰা পাকিস্তান কে চুটি এটেক কৰিছে না পুসুমদিন লাগা বালহাকাম লাগা ইনসিডেন্ট ওপৰে চুটি ইণ্ডিয়া ব্ৰা এটেক কৰিছে এনা কৰিছিল পাকিস্তান খান ব্ৰা ৰিটালিয়েট কৰব নাই কুগনা হোদা থাকিছে तो इदु लगा ओपर एटा ब्रा शो इंडिया खान ब्रा अटैक करिसिलो तो रिटालिएट करबो एना कइसे और ओटाय ब्रा एकटा साइडिंग एन एग्जांपल 2019 ला पुलवामा लगा अटैक पे ताय ब्रा कइसे कि पुलवामा अटैक हुआ बिजिदे इंडिया खान ब्रा एयर स्ट्राइक करिसे पाकिस्तान खानगे एनागा एयर स्ट्राइक करा दाम दे एकटा इंडिया आर्मी सोल्जर होले पाकिस्तान खान ब्रा कैप्चर करिसे कैप्चर करा बिजिदे तान डील करिगना एदो आर्मी दो हले वापस दिया बिजिदे एदो केस दो हले ठंडा हो जाइसे ना ठंडा हो जाइसे एनागा ताइब्रा एक्सप्लेन करा थाकिसे और ताइब्रा कोया हिसाबते पुलवामा केस पि दो हले पाकिस्तान खान ब्रा कुरान होय एदो हले इनसाइड जॉब एकटा आसे और दिस टाइम लगा बहलकम लगा इंसिडेंट बि दो हले पाकिस्तान खान के ब्लेम नकरबि ता निचु ब्रा कुरा लगा जॉब आसे और जुदी एदो लगा ओपरे इंडिया खान ब्रा अटैक करिसिलो तो Pakistan can probably retaliate korobo kuikena defense minister ba kuise.
Are you worried?
No, we are not worried. If it comes to a fight, and if India attacks us, we'll retaliate in kind. There's absolutely no doubt in our minds. It has happened before.
Just to be clear, sir, when you say false flag, when you say staged, are you blaming India for this attack that took place in Kashmir?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They create these situations. They create
what
these
evidence
situations.
are you?
Let me just take 30 seconds. Are you aware of Modi's history? What he did in Gujarat when he was chief minister of Gujarat? He killed 2,200.
Yes, we are, and we've interrogated that. I don't want to go into the history of Prime Minister Modi, but what I want to do is focus on this situation.
The present from history?
The reason India is blaming Pakistan is because they believe, and the United States has long believed, and that was one of the reasons why they pulled military funding from your country, is because Pakistan, its intelligence agencies, fund and back these terrorist organizations. That's why they're blaming you. You are now saying that this was staged by India based on what evidence?
That they never came up for any evidence for these incidents in Kashmir. Any evidence. Till now, they have in the last 10, 15 years, 3-4 incidents have taken place, but they never came up with any evidence. Just to blame Pakistan for something and create a situation for their own advantage. That doesn't mean that Pakistan is because Lashkar-e-Taiba in the past had some linkages in Pakistan. That doesn't mean that
what evidence do you now have that India staged this? Because
we have nothing to do with it. We have nothing to. There is no Lashkar-e-Taiba does not exist in Pakistan anymore. It is extinct. It is extinct. How can it?
This is an offshoot known, and they have claimed responsibility. The resistance front.
But my dear, if the parent organization does not exist, how can the offshoot take birth?
Well, that's what you say. That's what you say. The Indians, their intelligence agencies. The United States is often
our intelligence agencies, they say otherwise. They said it's all staged. It was staged in Pulwama also, and we were proved correct then. And India did not pursue that after the air attack and their plane was downed, and we returned there. The things cooled down then.
Itia lado hole hunahan hundi thakibo enaga koise etu maiki bra itia India or Pakistan lage issue opore phui asana nai ena koise to defense minister Pakistan ba eku phui nai etu nisna incident do hole India lode ekbar du ba howa noy poila pi hoigena aise to idia pi tan bra ki step loi mon pi enaga lobo eku phui nai bugana tai jawab dia di thakise aro news writer bra ekta koise ki Pakistan kan bra terrorist race kora terrorist ke support kora do hole India by jana hoy the whole world par jani ase US prabi 2018 de military funding do hole enaga terrorist kan ke support ni kura ni mide rokhai dise edu bra India bi Pakistan kan bra terrorist kan do hole fund kuri ase aro India bra Pakistan kan ke terrorist race kuri ase kugena finger point kura do hole hosa asan na aro attack like Pulwama no hole this time hoa balhakam edu lag attack khan do hole tai bra defense minister bra edu hole inside job ase stage ase na staging ekta ase ena gwa bra ki laga evidence bra defense apna bra edu hole inside job ase no hole staging ekta ase kola pare ena hoti sile to tai bra gushiki Pulwama de be eku evidence ba na Pakistan kan wrong also kuna India manu kan bra eku evidence ba na aro this time laga Bahalgam laga attack te bi eku evidence na thaki kana andas se blame kuri ase na goas ole bi aro tai bra kuisi ki India kan bra suspect kura edu Lashkar-e-Taiba edu han tu nai edu laga organization no nai na goas Alui monso pra janisi ki Lashkar-e-Taiba khan ba claim grise tahan ba morai shukuna ole bi itia konisna Pakistan laga defense minister bra pisi olda bolda kotha koi ase aro dai khud prahi Pakistan khan bra terrorist kan ke support kuri ase kona tai khud kwa thakise aro be further continuation kuri chabo
And now again the
But you
same
do
thing is.
admit, sir, that Pakistan has had a long history of backing and supporting and training and funding these terrorist organizations.
Well, we have been doing this dirty work for the United States for about 3 decades, and West, including Britain.
hunishina viewers news writer brother ke koise ki Pakistan khan brai no Pakistan khan bra edu terrorist kan training di ase funding kuri ase support kuri ase enaga hosa asan nai nago hodaram de idia tai khutli gushun na for 3 decades na they have been doing this dirty work koyas Pakistan kan bra edu nishna dirty work supporting Pakistan or not Pakistan supporting terrorists funding terrorist tan edu kam kuri ase aro edu hole akidu kwa moi brok kwa nishna US lord fight kura ram de aro West like Britain khan lord mila dam de na edu khan sobte tahan terrorist loigena enaga madad dia laga ase terrorist khan ge mon funding kuri ase terrorist khan ge mon raise kuri ase terrorist khan ge mon pali ase kugena tai nichu laga kotha bra edu kwa thakise aro last fale honigena jabu
Is Pakistan preparing itself for that?
We are already prepared for it, We are already prepared for it. Any eventuality which takes place in next 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 days or week or 10 days, we'll retaliate and we'll react to that, in kind, inshallah.
How will you respond if India does launch a series of airstrikes?
We will measure our response to whatever is initiated by India according to that. It would be a measured response. If there is an all-out, attack or something like that, then obviously there will be an all-out war. And if it is something...
And that's what I wanted to get to. We're talking about 2 nuclear powers. Should the world be worried about this moment?
Yes, I think so. The clash between 2 nuclear powers is always worrisome.
Kinaga, because India bra airstrike kurisolo reply kuro nai retaliate kuro nai kuise kurubo dai bra ina kuise edu incident hole first time noy last past years te bi enaga India lord war kurigena haise to this time bi India bra airstrike kurisolo tan major damage kuri tislo tan bra bi major damage pongchai dibo minor damage pongchai disolo tan bi minor damage to pongchai dibo kugena defense minister ba question aro news writer bra India aro Pakistan do hole nuclear country ase nuclear power country ase edu lago opore itia taijun edu India aro Pakistan majore relation to pia hoja dikiba ase issue ola ase to dunia bra edu opore worried hobole right asna na ena botise to defense minister Pakistan laga defense minister ba koise hoy nuclear power duita ase edu bra it is a worrisome we're gonna diabrabi edu admit kura thakise
What message do you have to Delhi?
If I have to give them a message is that we are neighbors, we have problems. We have some very serious problems with each other, especially over Kashmir. But we should be solving our problems through negotiations. We have had negotiations in the past, but we don't have those negotiations mechanism anymore between our 2 countries. I think India should not be resorting to such measures. This will escalate the situation, and there's a possibility that there is a outbreak of all-out war, which will have serious repercussions not only for our region, for our countries, but rest of the world also.
And
we should refrain from that. We should take measures to stop any situation from flaring up to a level which will be irreversible.
So viewers, last day edu news writer bra Delhi re eku message dibula asan nai hoda time de Pakistan laga defense minister bra ki kuise tai bra kwa do right ase one way de idia hona esapte do tuida nuclear power country ase mon edu pura da khole maximum restraint kurula kosis kuru lage negotiate kurigena edu laga deal do hole issue do hole ponai dibo lage inaga no hegena action ke mara mari hoisolo do it can escalate to a very big war aro edu war do hole khali India or Pakistan de noksani anan hogena all over the dunia sob nimide noksan do pongchai dibo edu nimide action ke negotiate korigina ti kuntu hal ase kuntu hi mutual understanding hobo etu nishna kam do korigina khatam kori dila phal ase kuina tai bra ko abi mon sopra edia viewers honisha to achi laga video de viewers khan achi laga video de mon sopra dikhishi ki Pakistan laga defense minister Kawaza Asif tai bra koishi ki Pakistan khan bra for 3 decades ekdam letra kam Pakistan based terrorist khan ke race korigina fun korigina enaka ekdam dirty kam korigina ahe ase tahan bi idu opore regret kuri ase aur tahan bi idu laga tuk tu pai ase idu laga ki kobo sindu pai ase guna tai ko thakise tai ni chu pai admit kurise Pakistan bra terrorist kan ke funding kura aur inaka thaka bra India bra Pahalgam kundu 22nd April hoise monso pra janise idu laga opore edia Taiba kundu Pakistan based military or not military terrorist group ase tahan bra claim grushi to tahan bra morai sukuna iman goa bjtb idia Pakistan laga defense minister bra etu terrorist kan ke defense kuri ase to na monso pra dikise etu terrorist group to nai koi ase tai bra koi sabte to still then Pakistan kan bra terrorist kan ke defense kura dikhiba ase to aji laga video de viewers kan amnan bi koi sabi India bra Pakistan kan ke pasta condition rakhi na ase inaka rakha do hole right asan na aro idu laga opore Pakistan khan bra idia tahan niju kalti hoigena koi asana tahan kalti hoigena koi asana India bra ki kuri tahan bi inaga kuru gona tahan bi idia tit for tat reaction jagana honi bas aro monso pra idu honi ase tikhi ase to idia judi India aro Pakistan majore war olai je shoglo do monso nimide tu khobole ekta khobor bia aro ekdam alert te idia recently be India aro Pakistan laga border LOC de mari casualties to thaga nai hole bi mari na enago honi ba sa army kan majore tia especially edo border area de bc tension de bhui ase public kan aro even army kan bi viewers kan anan ke reaction is na especially Pakistan laga defense minister bra ki admit kurise edu dekhai di bole video lugina viewers kan anan ke channel yes thank you everyone for watching my video